this is Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mr. Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, so there was a press release that came out a few days ago. Adrian Granat and his promoter were talking about his victory over France Real. I'm going to read what they had to say, and then I'm going to mix in my opinion about what I thought. Well, actually, I'll do my opinion first. Okay, I got a chance to watch the fight. When I came out initially with my post-fight, I was just given the result. I hadn't yet seen the fight. And BoxingScene.com, shouts out to them. But their writers, were making it seem as if Granat came back and he was just getting beaten every round, and he came back and, got a dramatic knockout. I do think the stoppage was dramatic, but I didn't think Granat was losing the fight. I tried to look up on Boxing Scene, look what the scorecards were. I couldn't find any scorecards. If you guys have a link to the scorecards and who was up in the fight, please send it to me. But I gave Real the first round, the second round probably even, but I had Granat winning pretty much the fight, even if by like a point. But I didn't think he was losing down on the scorecards type of thing. I do think Real was durable up until he got stopped, and I do think he was landing on Granat. Granat looked a little lethargic the first few rounds, kind of fighting straight up, and he's 6'8", so you really can't blame a guy for being straight up when he's 6'8". I'm 6'5", so he has 3 inches on me, so I can see how he can seem a little stiff at times, but the dude is tall as hell, man. So this is where and nothing against his trainers that he has, but a guy like Emmanuel Stewart was great at teaching big guys even how to be even bigger. Like Lennox Lewis was a guy that was 6'5". He was almost like he was 6'9" in there with his reach, the way he used his jab, and the way he would keep the distance between you and him. But you want to move your head a little bit, and you want to, Vitaly Klitschko was one of the best at it as far as being a big, super tall guy. I think Vitaly was Vitaly was 6'7", and he had good reflexes for a big guy, man. He knew how to move his head back. He will pull back with his head and make you miss like that. That's dangerous. Guys like Ali and Larry Holmes were able to get away with it because they had good reflexes, although they're not as tall as a guy like Vitaly Klitschko or Adrian Granat. Klitschko is somebody I think Granat can learn from if he's not already watching Vitaly Klitschko tapes, but he was good at moving his head for a big guy. There were times, like the Chris Ariola fight, he had Ariola chasing him around the ring a few times when Vitaly was just moving his head and backing up, and then boom, he'll come in with a right hand or use his jab. He was great at it. But everybody's not Vitaly Klitschko. You know what I mean? But it was a good stoppage. I liked it. It was very impressive. That right hand is something people are going to have to deal with, man. And he won this IBF international title. So I'm pretty sure when they refresh the IBF rankings, I expect Granat to be at least in the bottom half of the top 15, maybe at 15, being that Ian Lewison and Erkin Tepper, they were at the bottom half of that top 15, and they lost. And Christian Hammer actually upset Erkin Tepper on this card that Granat was on. But let me read what Adrian Granat had to say. He goes on to say, let's see here. He says, it was a great victory for me. I was a bit stiff in the beginning, but then I improved and Real was deteriorating round by round. Now I just have to continue, okay? His promoter goes on to say, there have been many requests to have Adrian fighting in his hometown. A lot of Swedish boxing fans are excited to have a world-class heavyweight boxer from Sweden, a country where boxing has not been one of the major sports in recent years, most likely due to the fact that professional boxing was prohibited during 1960 to 2007. But things are changing. Sweden today has a lot of great boxers, including one world champion, Badu Jack. Professional boxing is growing in Sweden for sure. Okay. Granat goes on to say, it will be fantastic to return to Sweden. I actually started my career in Sweden, where I did my first 2 fights. However, it is difficult for young boxers to make a living there. Even though the prohibition is gone, the rules are still quite cumbersome. It is really tough for both boxers and promoters. However, Sweden is the best country in the world, and the interest towards professional boxing there is growing fast now, which is great. The support for me in Malmo, I hope I'm pronouncing that city's name right, is really extensive. Tickets for the event will be sold quickly. And hopefully they are. You know, I like Adrian Granat. He's a guy I've been talking about for over a year now. The fight I want to see him fight, if I had to choose and pick his fights, I really think the fight between him and Otto Wallen should just happen, man. Like, just my opinion, you know, when you have two guys from the same country, from what I'm hearing, they're both from opposite ends of the country. So it'll be like a north-south type of thing. I believe that it's like that, north and south. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but usually when you got two rising prospects, you know, these guys are 14-0, 16-0, you would think like, man, when are these guys going to fight each other? You know, and from what I'm hearing, Otto Wallen doesn't want the fight right now. You know, but I think that's a fight that should take place. I think it'd be a good fight for Sweden, you know, but that's just my opinion. Now, besides that, I would like to see Granat fight anybody in the top 15 of the IBF, man. David Price, any of those guys, man. Edmund Gerber, Tom Schwartz, Michelle Wallace. Hey, how about Christian Hammer? You know, Hammer just beat Tepper. I think Hammer, he beat Tepper, I believe, for a minor WBO title, if I'm correct. I believe he beat him for a minor WBO title, I think. I can't remember. But I think that'd be a good fight, you know. Adrian Granat has called out Dillian Whyte. He called out David Price. And he called out Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury's another good one, I think. That'd be a good fight. So, BoxRec has Granat at number 29. So, he's steadily climbing the BoxRec ranks. Now he has his minor title, man, so maybe that can put him in place to where he can get some big fights. That minor title that he has was held by Helenius and Pulev previously, so hopefully this can get him in line to get some big fights and fight one of the guys that I name. I'd love to see him fight one of the German prospects. Ajit Kabayel's another one, you know. That's what I want to see, you know. But you guys let me know what you think about Adrian Granat's win over France Real and where he's going to go from here. If I can critique him and just some things he can work on, just moving his head. But then again, he is 6'8", man. It's hard to move your head. But hey, look at a guy like Deontay Wilder. Deontay may be a little bit more athletic than Granat, but there's still things he can learn from a guy like Vitaly Klitschko. And just, you know, knowing how to fight tall and keep your jab. Get stronger as a fighter. He's still young, relatively young, 25 years old. Young to me, I'm 36, but relatively young guy, you know, so his strength is still going to increase and he's going to get stronger. If he's going to be holding on the inside, better get strong, man. Really clamp down on those guys and use your weight. Learn how to use your weight and push down on guys. Learn some of the tricks of the trade. You know, a la Vladimir Klitschko. Lennox Lewis was good at using his weight on the inside and pushing down on smaller fighters. But I have seen Granat throw some good hooks to the body. You know, but he want to be careful, you know, when he steps up in ranks, man. He fight these better fighters throwing a big tall guy like that, throwing hooks to the body. You can get countered upstairs by leaving, exposing your chin. But I like what I see from Adrian Granat, man. I like what I've seen since I started doing videos about him over a year ago. So just getting this out there. That's my opinion. People are asking me about the fight. When I watch it, they want to know my opinion. Yeah, man, I didn't think France Real was dominating the fight and then Granat just came back out of nowhere. I didn't see that, but that's how boxing scene was putting it out there, like it was a huge come from behind win. It was more competitive. It was the most competitive fight that Adrian Granat has been in, but I picked him to win the fight, man. So congrats to Granat. You guys let me know what you think, man. I'm out.